Although I suppose Todd can just edit out the start if he doesn't like the way we sort of start the ball rolling, like he'll want to do his voiceover thing. Anyway, Todd, if you're
I
listening to
like that this will
this,
be part of the like. All right, here straight into the internet.
straight.
The first 5 minutes is us talking about how recording is difficult.
Gosh, I sure wish Todd were here.
Yes.
He smells somehow. Like even when he's on the screen, he just smells.
So fragrant.
The web.
So fragrant.
Okay,
Right.
why don't I just give us a brief summary and then we'll get playing again. Or actually, I suppose I should introduce the room. So today we have Jay, who's
Hello,
playing,
everyone. Scott Cow.
and we have Jackie,
I'm playing the Fell.
and we have Devin.
Playing John Normalman.
Okay, awesome. Is 3 PCs going to be enough for tonight? Let's find out.
What's the worst? At least we have a healer this time.
That's true. That's
Are
true.
you going to adjust the difficulty for us, Brendan? Or are we just gonna go for it?
We're gonna see.
Die in there.
Great.
So, to give Jackie the update from last time,
Dude,
the
listen.
party actually went to this secret undead town called Dreadville and solved a mystery. It was
Great.
it was great. I thought that it worked out really well. Everybody kind of went around. You interacted with a lot of NPCs. You oh, and Devin, you weren't there either.
I wasn't there.
Check out
Yeah,
this big
sorry.
brain
Oh,
on
yeah.
Brad.
I just but Jay were there. Jay was there. So so you guys solved a mystery. It turned out that this skeleton who nobody could identify was actually the skeleton of a zombie. And they're like, oh, it was a zombie, and it turned out to be the zombie janitor. And there was a whole plot to try to destroy the statue that weeps blood. It's a statue of Saint Malison, and the blood supply was basically the only thing keeping the society going, because the vampires could have the blood, and then they would be non-violent, and so they had this sort of nice little non-violent town of undead creatures, and they were all living in peace and harmony and dancing. There was a lot of good dancing, right?
There's a bone bones.
Yeah.
Little Saint Vitus's dance.
So we had a grand old time, and because the party was able to solve the murders, you were granted a reward of 500 pirate gold pieces each. And because I am a magnanimous GM, I'm just going to say that carries over, and so everybody in the campaign is going to get 500 pirate gold pieces each. Which may be useful to you because you're probably going to be heading back to Avondale very quickly. The other thing that you got, and I put this in the thread, I posted this, your little airship, this sort of rickety craft you managed to just barely get started as you fled from the collapsing tower of Kemet. It has been fully outfitted, fully rebuilt. It's now this 3-masted sea dog, and it looks very much like a ghostly pirate ship. It has all the sort of the trappings of a scary pirate ship. It has all the sort of skull and crossbones, and tattered sails, and unnecessary skulls, and like a whole skeleton on the bowsprit. Like the whole thing is just really decked out to be quite spooky.
What's on the front? What's like the mermaid looking thing or whatever?
Oh yeah, no, that's it's fully a skeleton. Like it's a skin.
It's like death.
Yeah, so it's all the whole thing is very scary.
FYI, I loved your pirate crew names.
Oh yes, Ronaldo, Rolando, Orlando, and Yolanda. So those are your
Great.
4. That's your skeleton crew. So they're gonna man the riggings, so to speak, and you guys can operate the cannon. And I sent you the stats for the cannon. It takes 2 PCs to operate. One person has to roll strength. The other person has to roll dex. It's sort of strength for actually maneuvering the cannon, and dex for aiming.
Do any of you have any dex at all, or are we all like 1 dex, high strength?
I have 4 dex and 1 strength.
Oh, perfect.
So
So it'll be Fell and 1 other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if 3 people is a sufficient number of PCs to like fully fight a pirate battle, but we're gonna find out.
Perhaps.
In
Can
this
we-
particular case, you guys look like the scary pirates descending from on high. So there's that. And the other important thing that you get is a quest item, which is you get a very special elixir, not the elixir that you would drink to heal a dropped character, but you get a very special potion that's been brewed by the mummy Khufu in Dreadville. And this potion has actually been brewed using the Idol of Kava. The Idol of Kava has been destroyed. It's been ground up in order to create this this special elixir. And you can pour it onto the tree of wands, and Khufu tells you that, the minute you pour it onto the tree of wands, it'll get absorbed by the roots, and the tree will be miraculously healed from this affliction that is causing it to die, even though it's supposed to be timeless and ageless. And that is hopefully going to prevent this last omen before Kava comes back and lays waste to the entire kingdom of Tiberia. So mission accomplished. You now have this elixir. You have to head back to Aventale, and you don't have a lot of time for mucking about, because you may recall that as you were sent off on the quest to go and get the Idol of Kava, you were told that they only have 17 days. They only have 17 days worth of supplies, and the Contessa was saying to you, get back here with the idol, otherwise we will cut the tree of wands so that we can use the wands in the defense of Aventale from this looming siege of goblins, which you can only assume has gotten worse since you've left. You've spent a lot of time tooling around. You went and you fought a vampire. You got the idol. You went to Kava. To the Tower of Kemet. You fought Commander Amara. The tower was destroyed. You fled. You found Dreadville. You solved mysteries. So a lot of time has passed. Not 17 days, but a lot of time has passed. So you are probably going to head back to Aventale, but you have an airship, and so if you want to spend some time in the Halfling Shire or whatever, then so be it.
2 hours later.
Tons of time.
Do we even need to save the world? I mean, really?
I think the world's had a good run.
Yeah.
Why not? You can just let her go. Once and for all, maybe it's time.
Can you imagine the Nihilist campaign? Every time the GM tries to get you to save the world, you're like, nah, I'm gonna let it burn.
I feel like the Nihilist campaign would be like the GM is like, someone else is trying to stop the end of the world. And you're like, oh man, no. Nah, man, nah.
We could do that. We could do like an all evil campaign.
That's what I was thinking, like on the superheroes one, there should be like a creative villain.
All you do is run grocery oligarchies and like direct-to-consumer shipping from hideous warehouses. Oh god, it's too real. No, we can't go there. The problem with villainy and evil is that we all experience it so often that we just can't pretend.
Yeah, I want to have like fun villainy, like guys throwing virgins into volcanoes, not like people trying to figure out the best way to sell consumer goods with maximum labor and cheapest parts, and therefore maximizing their profits for world domination.
Okay. Enough of the capitalist hellscape update. Let's continue on.
You want to take off and go back is probably the best thing, don't you think, guys?
Yeah, though Commander Amara probably went back first and put, sullied our names a bit.
How do you know Commander Amara survived the burn?
She's way too cool.
If someone...
She was way too cool. In my heart. I feel it in my little beating heart that she is still alive, and
Wait,
we're
are you
probably
speaking
going
as
to have to
Normalman,
fight
or
her
are you speaking as Devin right now?
as Normalman.
Okay, all right.
As a player, if
So-
someone, we do not see a body of someone who is so determined to fuck with us, I don't think they're actually dead.
Okay.
I only met her once, so I have no idea.
Wasn't she great?
Okay.
She seemed pretty
So-
terrible, actually.
So,
It was odd.
See,
It
what you
was-
gotta do is you meet a girl like that, and then you change her.
yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't work. Even in the fictional realm, it's not going to work. So let's continue on. So you direct your skeleton crew, Rolando, Ronaldo, Orlando, and Yolanda, to take off, and you stand up on the deck, and you feel the wind in your face, and you just rise up, and you can, you part the clouds, and you're heading straight over and around these very tall Vesper hills, and from up here, Southumbria just looks so small. You see this snaking black river, and you see, to your dismay, just so many goblins, just like a gray-green carpet of little shrieking, chanting, drumming, biting, scratching, throwing, stabbing little goblins, like all of them, just like a huge carpet just being dragged towards Aventail. And of course, as Aventail pulls up into view, you see this, it's really just a crown of buildings surrounded by this very thin stone belt, and there are goblins just pressed up against the wall, just buried like maybe 10 deep, dead goblins, and more of them just clambering over trying to get in. And you see up on the top of the wall, there are archers, there are there are spellcasters. There are people who are lobbing spells down into the goblins. There seem to be even some pretty decent spellcasters, like you see a fireball here or there. They're doing whatever they can. And up, flying high up above the castle from the parapets, there are many different flags and pennants, like all the sort of family crests. Everybody who's staying and trying to defend the town, they've got their family crests flying way up high. And it's clear also that there are many people who are fleeing. So the airships that you previously saw when you went to go and collect moonstones and stardust during the meteor shower, there are some private airships. People are boarding their own airships, and they're fleeing, like they're getting out. And these airships are crowded, right? Like they're stuffed to the brim. People just standing room only, trying to get out of Aventail, trying to get out of Southumbria. And so you see some of them leaving. But amongst some of these flags that you see sort of whipping and fluttering above the castle is one that actually has a scarab beetle on it, a golden scarab. And as some of you might remember, when a golden scarab flies over Castle Aventail,
Fuck.
that is one of the other omens. So you're down to one omen, which is the death of the Tree of Wands, and then Kava comes back. So,
may I guess that the golden scarab is the flag of the Medusa? Would that fit?
it probably would. Yasmina Al-Kindi is from Opalia, and that would fit. So you might want to raise that maybe with her. I don't know.
Maybe lower it.
Well, it's already been flown. It's already been flown. So you head over, and of course, as you are flying, it's sometimes difficult to remember what you look like until you see people kind of screaming in terror. But
Right. We look like pirates, and there's lots of undead things on the boat.
Like undead, you look like
Right.
some dread pirate ship, right? That is floating through the air, just like tattered sails. I'm gonna say there's like a sort of like an eerie green glow that surrounds the ship, and it has one of those sort of creepy voices that just surrounds it, like, oh.
It's like it whispers your name.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to like, oh, let's make our own flag and get like a big red circle with like a smiley face, but then it starts to fly, but it looks like someone has been flayed and their face has been peeled off.
It just you can't look friendly when you're coming in on something like that.
Yeah.
So nevertheless, you head up over the walls, and as the pirate ship is quite gracefully descending down, you hear all the noise of just dozens of bolts and little bits of rock and shivs and spears, everything just being thrown up against the hull, and it's all just going clank, clank, crack, clank, clank. And then you manage to get up and over the wall, and you land, and the noise in the streets around Avondale is just, it's deafening, because you can hear all these clamoring goblins, and they're all beating their drums, and they're all going kava ma ma kava ma ma, and you can tell actually that there are probably some other things out there as well, not only hobgoblins, but there could be orcs, there could be ogres, anything that's kind of looking for a good time, and maybe some pillage and maybe some meat has joined in. I mean, it's the spoils of war kind of attract all kinds of scavengers and unsavory types and creatures. So the minute you land, there's sort of a general fear, and so the people who are still in Avondale, who are trying to muster some kind of defense, immediately they're afraid. They're like, oh no, they've got a pirate ship. But you come out and you are recognized because, of course, you've done some good deeds for the town already. And so they go, oh, it's the adventurers, they've returned, yay! So sort of a happy cry goes up from the assembled crowds. But it's very short-lived, because many of them are carrying buckets of pitch to throw over the walls, or they're carrying buckets of water to try to put out fires.
And a sock. Or legs and limbs.
Buckets of legs? Oh, right. Sorry. The limbs are on
a couple buckets filled with hands.
That doesn't sound like a very effective fire retardant. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah.
Coming in way.
I'm sure they're also bringing wheelbarrows full of arrows and things like that. But anyways, you have the run of the town now. So you're here, you've got 500 pirate gold pieces. You can go to any of the shops, and just in preparation for tonight, I posted on the thread the different things that you can buy. And I think that most of you have already made your purchase decisions. Now, Jay, I know that Scott Cow probably doesn't want to use any of the weapons that I posted. So if you would like to convert, say, a hammer or a rapier into a greatsword, I'm cool with that.
You had something written, that double sword there. I assumed that was something like that.
You have to have dual wield as a skill to have the double sword, which is blade on the side.
No, I thought it was one double sword.
Like a double guitar.
Yeah, or double the size anyway.
Is it more like the Darth Maul thing, where it's a sword coming out from either end? And,
I'll take a very fancy $50 great sword if that works.
You can get yeah, you can have a great sword that has +1 damage for that. Not bad, right? Devin, you sticking with your purchase, or do you want to go with a +1?
Well, I still want the armor because that's real good. Could I get a +1 mace or a +1 knuckle duster?
You can get a +1 mace.
I bought the Mace of Disruption. I'll keep that.
So the Mace of Disruption is going to give you an extra D6 versus undead.
Mm-hmm.
But the Mace +1 will give you an extra +1 versus everything.
Oh. Okay, well, let's do that. How much was that?
50.
50. Okay.
Oh, and it's not +1 to hit.
That's just +1 damage.
+1 damage, because +1 to hit is that's like
+1 damage, but to everything.
Yeah, to everything. The
I
fell.
did get drunken by the weird dagger. Just by the way, if that's going to be a plot thing later.
Oh, the weird. So weird daggers deal an extra d6 to any weird foes. So there's actually a whole that if you read the monster manual, there's like a whole section on like weird foes like Shoggoth and Metroids and like all kinds of other weird shit.
Okay, I'll put it in my pouch.
Okay. The fell, you gonna get anything?
Besides what I already purchased?
Oh no, if you're happy with your purchases, that's fine. You bought a bunch of cantrips and potions and things, I believe.
I did. These cantrips I bought them mostly because I think it would be funny to try and take out a vampire with them, even though I'll have a really hard time hitting them because I am not very willful or intelligent.
It is just kind of amusing to me, though, that you would be completely lethal to Bo's character.
Yeah, that would be perfect for someone's charm person to miss. Looking forward to that eventual comical hilarity. I think I might get one more health potion.
Okay, that's fine.
So good that the Phil can drink.
I mean, it's a relief to me that it turns out I'm not as clockwork as I look.
Yeah.
He's just full of guts.
A clockwork cleric who can't heal themselves. I'm not even a cleric. I'm something else entirely. I'm a thaumaturge, but God.
Like, what was it? Big Hero 6 or whatever the hell that shit was.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's continue on. As you're going from shop to shop, the shopkeepers who have stayed are happy to see you, and they're also happy to sell their wares. And some of them happen to mention, I'll say Divlinster, who's the deep gnome. He's gonna say, "Oh, I thought about leaving, but I hear that Contessa Vincenza is gonna order that the Tree of Wands be cut. Oh, and the minute the Tree of Wands is cut, we'll all have these wands, and we'll be able to use magic, and everything will be just fine."
Wow.
But the tourist industry will be crushed.
Do you guys trust this potion? Do you think like it would be good to like? Could there be any type of double cross going on here?
Well, let's see.
Before the potion
we used an evil corrupting idol, and then the potion was concocted by an ancient mummy in a city just packed with undead monsters. No, I think it's fine.
Should we
Listen, I mean,
guns?
100% of the people who have made my life miserable so far in this campaign have just been regular humans from this town. So...
Do you want to give it like a wee little test on like a little flower or something like that?
Nah.
All right. I just hooked up with this.
Listen, if
Yeah.
we're gonna get double crossed, it was meant to be amen and all that.
Yeah, like
So forth.
either we are the harbingers of doom, or we aren't.
In which case, sick. What a way to go.
Here for the ride. I didn't know you guys hung around with vampires and such. You weren't here to hear my tragic backstory last week, so I'll fill you in during beers afterward. In hell, perhaps.
Sounds
There's
great.
no beer in hell. Everybody knows there's no beer in hell. Okay.
It's just Budweiser.
There's no beer in hell.
And now a word from our sponsors. Not Budweiser.
Brought to you by Buck-a-Beer.
Hmm.
No name brand.
Okay. How about Lake? How about Lake?
Okay. So the minute you hear from Deblinster that the felling of the Tree of Wands is imminent, you think to yourself, "Oh right, I need to
puzzle.
get back to the castle." So you head straight towards Avondale Keep. and you go inside. It's hardly guarded at all. Like
Which makes
all the
sense.
guards are up on the walls, like doing their best to sort of use spears and to push any sort of goblin ladders away, and to they're basically and there are goblin sappers as well. Those goblins who've rushed at you and blown themselves up. They have to try and hit those with crossbows, and they're doing everything they can to keep the city, or it's not a city, it's a hamlet, to keep it safe. And there's not that many people guarding the castle, so you're able to basically stroll right in, and the living area, which used to be filled with chaises and tea service, has been converted into a bit of a war room. And there are maps, and there are reports, and there are people who are running back and forth with information about what's happening at this side of the wall and what's happening there, and our people are kind of reinforcing different parts of the wall with wood. They're demolishing different buildings to get more building material to sort of prop these pieces of the wall up, and so there's a lot of work that's being coordinated from this one central place. And the minute you go in, you see 4 familiar faces. There's Contessa Vincenza, who is in a complete huff. Like she's basically unable to cope with the stress, and she's fanning herself, and she's eating compulsively, and there's crumbs spilling all over her, and she's like, oh, 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 oh. And then of course there's also Friar Elijah, who is he's kind of pacing, but also trying every now and again to sort of like calm Vincenza down. He's like, it's all right, like everything will be fine. We just have to stay focused on the task before us, right? Like he's trying to give her some old-timey advice. There's the merchant Yasmina Al-Kindi, who is actually really working at trying to organize the defense of the wall. And so she's the one who's relaying a lot of the messages to runners and people who are going off to, try to resupply different areas. And there is Commander Amara, who looks, as you predicted, completely unscathed. And you can ask her how she survived. She might try to kill you, but let's say for the purposes of the story that she pulled the ladder up and then leapt off the falling tower, Die Hard style. And when you leap in one direction, you can swing back the other way. And she managed to hit the ground running. It's 100 rungs up. I think
cut the ladder.
Huh?
I cut the ladder.
Yeah.
There's another ladder.
Okay.
Her spare backup ladder, the emergency
okay.
exit ladder. Okay.
She had a parachute. Oh, okay.
No, parachute wouldn't be in keeping with the whole world, but the ladder makes sense.
I'm sorry, there are airships, but no one's invented a parachute.
Yeah,
That seems wildly dangerous.
No, parachutes don't.
It's a land of adventure, not a land of sanity.
Yeah, no.
Are you telling me these parapets don't have guardrails?
They absolutely do not have guardrails.
This is how you get almost the entire plot of Star Wars. If they just had some workplace health and safety in there, I mean, it would be a whole different story.
Yeah, I feel like the Death Star alone would be like, Emperor, I don't think we can build a Death Star, because people are gonna die. That's gonna cause a lot of lawsuits.
Not
Also,
in my empire.
completely ruined the whole franchise if people started introducing lawsuits into that universe. So boring.
Could you imagine?
Okay.
It's almost like a space adventure game would be just destroyed by politics and commerce.
Okay. All right. So you barge into the room, and Commander Amara sees you, and she's like, "You traitors!" And she rushes towards you. And Yasmina Al-Kindi is like, no, don't! Stop! And Vincenza also says, stop, what are you doing? What's everyone doing? And when Vincenza says stop, Commander Amara stops, right? Because it's her liege, right? She's loyal to the Countess.
She
And-
stabbed a guy who was like totally defenseless and crawling away from her on the floor.
She's done a lot of stuff. She
She's-
tortured that orc
she's-
to death.
She
Ooh,
tortured. She's done some pretty horrific things.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I
And
mean,
she's glaring at you in a way that makes you know that she would do those same things to you, like in a heartbeat, because she is, well, you don't really know her motives. And
John's
you look
heart
around the
skips a
room.
beat.
You look around the room, and
Yes.
Friar Elijah is like, "Oh, I remember these guys." You know, he has like a soft spot for you. He's like, "Oh, when I was young, I used to." Anyway, and Yasmina Al-Kindi, who is basically on good terms with you, she strides up to you, right? Like Amara is barely containing herself. Vincenza is like, still beside herself with strain and stress. And Yasmina Al-Kindi says, "Were you able to retrieve the idol of Kava?
Yes.
And where is it?"
In this shake.
What?
We have transformed the idol into an elixir that will revive the Tree of Wands, bringing it back to its former glory. Once the leaves sprout on the tree once more, the hold on the goblins will be broken, and they will retreat back into their caves, and all we'll have left is a few scattered factions who are not smart enough to not realize that they've been destroyed.
Okay,
I asked them if they thought we had been double-crossed, and they assured me no.
oh, I'm so glad we brought our most charismatic people to this party.
Okay, so
Who would you prefer talking,
Yeah.
Leroy?
I haven't.
no, I think it would all be bad.
so I think
I'm
normal
brand new
members.
to this outfit.
What?
I'm brand new. I haven't met any of these people.
Plausible deniability.
I don't know you. I barely know you.
Okay. Normalman was the one who gave that impassioned speech.
Rousing speech.
Yes.
Oh, I rolled a 6 on my persuasion.
And so Yasmina Al-Kindi says, This is difficult to believe, but I feel that this might be the solution we've been praying for. Please, give us this elixir. We'll try.
Quick
We can't-
question. What's your banner?
It's the one with the scarab. So, please, give us the elixir. And Friar Elijah says, "Oh, weren't we gonna cut the tree down anyway? I can't remember."
Why don't we all go pour the elixir on the tree together?
And Amara says, "No, it could be poison. I don't trust them."
I don't trust you. which
You
is hard.
stabbed a defenseless man in the back.
It's probably just part of her job. You know, that's what these types of people do.
You know what? I don't care, and I'll start heading toward the courtyard.
Cool. I'm gonna follow Normalman and just like make sure we don't get immediately stabbed.
And as your
Yes.
turn to leave,
Back them up.
Vincenza goes, no, wait. I don't want to put poison on the tree. What if it spoils the wands? I think we should cut the tree. I think we should fell the tree. That will be the best way to
It is not poison, and Normalman will grab the vial and uncork it, and take a big swig, and recork it.
Okay. So
And when I say take a big swig, I mean I'm gonna put my tongue on the bottle tap. So I just get like a little dot.
okay.
We're a big
Give me a
dot.
con roll.
Type of acid.
Give us a good con roll, Normalman.
Let's see, con 3, 7.
Much in the way that breathing like pure concentrated oxygen, like breathing like liquid ozone, even though oxygen would probably be good for you, breathing that level of concentration, especially when you're like already full health, can be very, very damaging, even in small amounts. And although you feel as if what you have put your mouth upon is probably very, very restorative and holy and healing and wonderous and filled with vitality, you are harmed by this experience.
It's good. It's good.
Give me a D10 roll. That's how much damage you take.
6.
Okay. So you're sort of visibly shaken by this.
No, I promise it's good.
Oh,
And
that is ballsy.
and Yasmina Al-Kindi says, I still believe that you don't need to demonstrate. We need to heal the tree. I believe that this is a solution. And Friar Elijah's like, oh, that looks pretty good. Give me a taste.
No.
And Amara is like, this is trickery. This is trickery, Contessa. And the Contessa is like, I really think we should cut the tree. I think we should cut it down and take the wands. And as she's saying this, she's like, I really think we should take the tree. You see that the little kobold that is sitting on her sort of shoulder, eating the crumbs, is whispering, and the fell, like suddenly you feel like all of your senses, like
Fuck that demon in
all
particular.
of your senses zoom in on this little
I said that in the first game.
zoom in. I know, and I went back and I listened to it. I listened to the exact questions and the exact answers I gave, and the little kobold is like, cut the tree, cut the tree. You need the wands. You asked about the kobold, and then you're like, oh, that's right, kobolds are dumb. And I said, oh, this kobold is smart. I mean, he's getting all the crumbs he wants.
You were so close to solving the mystery right out the door.
So
That's
what are
okay.
you gonna do now that you've...
Let's go kill her favorite pet.
I'm going to do something unavoidable. The fellow cannot stop themselves. So I'm just going to let y'all deal with the fallout of this. I'm going to assume that this is probably the demon I've been looking for my entire existence and the sole purpose of my being as a seraph. And cantrips, force missile auto hits? Important question before I figure out how much damage I'm about to do to this little cobalt.
Mhm.
One, am I level 6 or level 7?
You're level 7 now.
Oh, okay. So that means my enhanced cantrips does even more damage. Super. So that means it does a D8. Hang on top of the other damage. Just that. And then
Todd, if you're listening to this, now would be a good time to key the fight music.
yeah, here's the fight music while I do some excruciating math. It's important that we have music.
I'll open up my calculator app to help.
Thank you. So when I am sent to destroy something, I deal an extra D20 plus level. So I'm going to deal an extra 27 damage on my
D20 plus 7.
yeah. Oh, a D20 plus 7. Yeah. So we'll see how much that D20 gives me.
Yeah.
Questionable. But then I also have to roll a D4, a D8, and then add 5 to that. I need to get all these dice out.
So a D4, a D8, plus 5, plus 7, plus a D20.
D4, D8 plus 5 plus 7 plus a D20. Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
So you're doing at least 12 damage right now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
I
you know,
assume that this is probably a little bit more than a cobalt, so this may not be the last of it, but it reads here in the paragraph like every time I attack this thing, it's going to do that much damage. So
That's correct.
let's just hope this spell actually auto hits on this thing, and there's not some like secret annoying clause where bosses don't get auto hit by force missile.
No, bosses
Which
got
is-
auto hit by force missile.
All right, here we go. Let's roll some dice. Oh shit. Okay, so that's 7 plus 2 plus 11 plus 12.
Plus, is the 12
The 12 is what you were already counting.
Okay, so that's 32 damage.
So
And I'm very carefully aiming specifically at the kobold. Like, they're gonna think I'm attacking her. There's nothing I can do about this. I am not gonna be doing anything else until this thing is dead. See you
So-
later.
you open your hands as if you're just releasing a standard magic missile spell, but these things are bright as stars, and your wings that have always kind of been around in sort of a decorative fashion are suddenly lifting you like a few feet off the ground, and are just blazing like moonlight on snow, very bright. And as you release these missiles, they are shooting faster than any missiles you've ever shot, and each one is leaving almost like a vapor trail in the air as it's speeding towards this little fat kobold who's whispering demonically in the ear of the Contessa, and each one hits home and makes like this, like a sound like a thunderclap, like each one just like bang, 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 and launches the thing across the room. And the Contessa, of course, is like just just faints at this sudden explosion of violence, and for a little while, this tiny kobold is actually pinned to the wall as all of these magic missiles are just ramming into it, and little bits of rock are like shooting off the wall behind the kobold, and like little bits of almost like little crackles of electricity are bounding off of the site where the kobold is being hit over and over again. And then it falls, and it's just a steaming, hissing, smoking pile of roughly kobold-shaped, desiccated flesh on the ground. And for a minute, you feel like, oh, we've really done a great thing. Of course, Amara has interpreted this completely wrong, and is like, what have you done? She pulls out her double sword, that peregrine sword, and lights it up, so both sides are just blazing with sunlight. And then that little pile of charred kobold just starts to grow, and it's growing,
Demon.
and
Demon.
it's growing, and
Yeah.
as it's growing, spikes start to jut out all over its body, like just everywhere on its body, and it's this sickly yellow color, but the spikes almost have like a burnt brown tip to each one of them, and the whole thing, it almost looks like a skeleton that's had skin just stretched over it. Like there's nothing where the belly ought to be, like it's just the skin is stretched right back to the spine, and the whole face, the skin is stretched right over where the teeth should be, and the teeth are just poking straight out of the flesh, and it has these glowing red eyes, and it is hissing, and then as it reaches up to its full size, like if it could stand up completely, its head would be touching the ceiling, it shrieks, and its whole jaw just detaches the way a cobra's jaw can detach to like eat a buffalo. The whole jaw comes down, and it shrieks, and this noise is the most painful, high-pitched shriek you've ever heard, and it shatters the glass in the room, like any glasses for drinking. All of your potions
God
shatter.
damn it!
All of your potions shatter, Give me a con roll of 9.
What?
I could, in theory, make that if I roll a 6.
Same.
I rolled a 1. Ouch.
I got
not roll a 6.
I had to roll a 5. I got a 5. I got a 9.
Ugh.
If you rolled a 9, then you're safe. Everybody else takes 15 damage.
John yells, Amara, protect Vincenza.
And she like looks at you like seething, but she rushes to Vincenza and basically like scoops her under one arm and kind of carries her to the side of the wall to put herself between the Contessa and this fiend, this Caco fiend that has emerged into your midst.
When you say all of our potions shattered, do you mean the elixir that we made from the fancy thing also shattered?
No. That one is
Okay.
That one is protected by the sheer magic of it.
Fuck yes. Okay, well, you know what? I'm a little annoyed to have spent all that money on potions now. It
500
blasts
is
into
more
my
pirate
ass.
gold where it comes from.
I want to call a bit of a brief break just for biology purposes, but you guys can definitely think of strategy. I'm going to stop the recording, and when we come back, we'll see whether you guys can defeat a Caco Fiend. By the way, it's in the monster manual, so you can, if you're interested, you can take a look at the stats, either now or later. Okay. Okay, so we're back. I've set a turn order. Scott Cow first, Normalman second, the Fell third, and I will roll something for Amara at the end. I'm not going to go through all the mechanics of waiting you guys, making you guys wait for Amara's roll to be calculated. It's going to be really simple. So, although Amara will perhaps end up taking damage, it's up to you guys to defeat this thing. Because the Fell is a Seraph and destined to try to defeat this thing. I said that the Fell would have particular knowledge of it. So this Caco Fiend has a pretty low int and pretty low dex, very high in the other attributes. Defense is not particularly high, but if you get close to it for a melee attack, you're going to take some auto damage, and it is very dangerous with the claws. So, and you could probably glean a lot of that just by looking at it, because it's taking up a good portion of the room, and it is covered in spikes. Some of those spikes are like the size of lances, and it is very hostile looking. And so I'm going to say it is PC's go. Top of the round is with Scott Cow.
Who has the elixir of the tree stuff?
I think I probably do, since I just drank a big swig of it.
Yep, yeah. Are you going to be the guy to dash for the tree? Okay. So I guess I'll just take a chop at that thing.
Okay.
Just one sec.
Is the damage...
On a greatsword?
2d6 plus strength.
2d6 plus strength, okay. I did not get my EP, so it's just going to be a straight strength attack, I guess.
No, it's a d6 plus, d6 plus strength to hit, and then 2d6 plus strength for the damage. Plus 1.
So here goes my attempt to hit. I rolled a 6.
That's a crit.
Crit plus 5.
Oh, I thought you meant 6 total.
No. I rolled a full-on 6. I'm rusty on my rules for crits.
You get max on 1 dice, so instead of rolling 2d6, it's 1d6 plus 6.
Okay. 8, another 8, so 14 damage.
Okay. And you...
He's just like, holy Jesus! I guess Jesus doesn't exist in this world. Holy, whatever, some sort of thing, Christ, whatever. Chop. It's a shock chop.
And you take 3 points of damage just by getting close to those spikes.
Okay.
Like it's just like you swing and like you get like a spike in the forearm as it's moving.
Ouch!
And those red eyes just like sweep past you, and you can just feel its seething breath. Like this is clearly like something straight from hell.
He's like, don't you be getting fresh with me.
Okay, Normalman.
So Normalman is making a dash for the tree.
Okay, so you're gonna have to leave the room, go down to the bottom of the castle, head out to the courtyard, pour the elixir into the tree, and then come back, go up the stairs, the spiral stairs to the top of the castle. So I'm gonna say if you have to do that, you're gonna be gone for 5 rounds.
Fair enough. Before I leave, so basically, John like deeks and then grabs like a fistful of pastries from Vinchenja's platter, and then tosses them toward the demon as a distraction, because he probably has some leftover like crumbs. And then I'll head out. Hop, 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 hop.
Okay, so you are going to be away for 5 rounds. So the fell.
I mean, I was literally made to kill this thing. So, like, as much as I could roll, I don't even have my EP. It doesn't matter. We're going to kill this thing. So that is 5 plus 2 plus 8 from the D20 plus another 7 from my level. So
8, 23, and then what for your level?
7.
I think that's 30.
5 plus 8 plus 2 plus
15 plus 7, that's 22.
yeah.
Oh my god, how off was I?
Okay.
You added an
Die.
extra something in there. I wish.
So it's the same thing. Every time you shoot more missiles at this thing, your 2 seraph wings, they just ignite with more illumination, and the missiles, they streak out of your hands like they've never wanted to be anywhere else, and they are moving at just incredible speed, and they're leaving vapor trails, and it's pummeling this thing. Like it's actually moving it back, even though its claws are dug into the floor. Like it's actually pushing it back. But that brings me to to its first attack round, and it's going to target Amara. So it gets 3 attacks, and it is dealing 39 damage per attack.
That's per attack.
Yes.
That is more than my whole hit point. Actually, no, I have slightly more hit points now. I know.
So it claws Amara, like just claws and claws and claws, and basically throws her against the wall. Even though she's raised her peregrine sword, it just claws right across her back, and then just claws her and just picks her up. Like she's lying on the floor, and the 3rd claw strike actually lifts her from the floor and just ripping through armor, just throws her up against the wall, and she hits the wall and she is dropped.
Jesus.
And the thing turns back to you and is like,
Yeah.
Which brings us to the top of the round. Scott Cow.
I'm gonna throw an axe at it, maybe. Well, that's a dex though, so I think I'll even take the damage and I'll take the chop again. But I'm gonna see for EP.
But its
Yes,
dex,
that might
its
be-
dex is low. That is the thing. Its dex and def
So
are
is
low.
mine. That's true. That's true. That's true. So maybe I did get my EP.
Hmm.
Rage out.
So I think I'll probably do more of a chance to. Let's throw an axe, and I'll get in close to it anyway.
Are you
So
gonna
that's
rage?
probably
Are you
fine.
raging?
Yes, I am raging.
An
So I'll
axe
be-
is still D6 plus strength. It's a strength attack.
It's a strength attack, even if I
Yeah.
throw it, like
Yep.
a throwing axe.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just do it anyway because it looks cool. I guess it would only be a 7 to hit then.
How much did you roll?
It's 2 plus my strength. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically it just gets kind of like stuck between two of the spikes, and it like doesn't actually end up like the blade doesn't end up hitting anything. It just kind of gets just stuck between the prong of two spikes. And the creature doesn't even really seem to acknowledge that you've done this, and it just turns and it's seething, and you can see like smoke is just like coming up out of its mouth as it's looking around, and there's almost like this clicking noise that's emerging from it. Normalman.
So
you're
as
now 4
I'm
rounds
running,
away.
as I'm running down the stairs, I grab my shield and jump on it and skateboard down the stairs.
Orlando Bloom style, hot.
Exactly.
Okay, give me a dex roll, and I'll.
Oh,
tell
I
you.
didn't know I'd have to make a roll.
You
I
know
did-
what I
I was
love
just
the
sort of-
most about this is that John Normalman has resisted so hard being the center of every prophecy, and yet here he is,
Yep.
delivering the elixir to the Tree of Life.
I'm trying to stop a prophecy.
He's an atheist.
Uh,
Oh, I closed the wrong app.
also, what a week to not have anyone on our team who can vex. Like, my
that's
God.
a 6 for my dex.
Okay, that's enough. I was gonna make you fall down the stairs so hard, so much damage. Okay, but yeah,
Just
you
spiral.
somehow managed to like shield skateboard down, saving yourself 2 rounds. So you're just gonna need 1 round to douse the tree and then get back up. So you've got 2 rounds.
Reverse skateboard. You're at the bottom, like.
I'll just do a bunch of ollies up the steps.
Okay. The fell. You now have an interesting decision. You can continue the barrage, or you can try and get Amara back up.
Oh, no. What would be the? She didn't do anything in the moment when she was alive, and she's been trying
a ton
to.
of damage.
She did soak a ton of damage, and I do have my EP, but I think I recall. Are there any healers in the room, or like spellcasters in the room who are not me?
Actually, you know who's in the room.
It's the
naughty
person
wizard.
who old Elijah wizard, or the merchant person who seems very competent.
So Yasmina Al-Kindi.
Yes,
who is-
thank you.
who is the Gorgon, and also Father Elijah, Friar Elijah rather.
Are they both spellcasters?
Friar Elijah is a healer from the way back. He's a cleric. He's the confessor to the Contessa. So he might have some EP left in his old bones. If you want to try to like rally him, but both of them are kind of like in shock at this point.
It's just because
they've
my
just seen Amara get like clawed to, thrown against the wall.
I have a minor which allows me to amplify the spell power +1 of any another spell, an allied spellcaster,
Yeah.
and I presume they're allied.
They are.
You should get the Gorgon to try to petrify the demon too.
Yeah, so I'm going to start shouting instructions because clearly this is what I was made to do. So I'm going to boost Father Elijah's spell power and yell at him to get Amara back up on her feet. I don't care how. And so that gives him a +1 for this round. Hopefully he doesn't waste it. And then I'm going to look at our merchant friend whose name escapes me every time you say it.
Yasmina.
Yasmina, thank you. And I am going to tell her to try and solidify some of an arm or something on this thing using her innate talents or any spellcasting ability she has. Just don't stand there.
Whatever you're good at.
Do something.
Okay.
I look very
And then-
inspiring, and then I'm going to attack it because that was just a minor. So here we go. Oh god, the worst rolls. So that's 5 plus 1
6,
plus 2
8.
plus 7.
15. Wow, jeez, how did you?
I rolled a 2 and a 1.
Oh.
Ding.
Which one of those was your D20?
The 2.
Oh man.
I know! It's so painful! I wish
Yeah,
I had
so-
advantage.
I'm gonna say that it's almost like you're trying to hold on to a fire hose, and you're like with one hand, you're spraying so hard that it's basically like these missiles are like punching holes through the walls. Like you see like little tiny rays of sunlight peeking through. Like you're trying to obliterate this thing, but the power is just surging through you.
That's like when I pee at like 4 in the morning.
So Friar Elijah didn't roll his EP, but
Damn it.
but Yasmina Kindi did, and
Shit.
so she rushes in, pulls back the veil, and with these just molten golden eyes and a whole headdress of snakes just like hissing and seething and swirling all over her. She uses her gaze ability at the Kako Fiend and does manage to petrify some of it, slowing its movements, albeit slowly. And so it's going to have fewer action points this round. However, it still does get an action.
I'm sorry, so Father Elijah couldn't even slap Amara's corpse on the face and be like, hang in there?
I'm gonna say actually, yeah, he probably could. So he
Like, he's not gonna magically resurrect her, but he could be like, come on now, up you get.
That's exactly. He's
Don't lie down on the job now.
exactly.
When I was young.
So she's back up with 2 HP. But
Great.
she is back.
Cool. Well, I'm
And
perfectly happy to have this thing kill her every single round and have
Now-
him bring her back up.
Scott
It's a
Cow, did
pleasure.
you roll? Did you roll your rage? Did you roll your rage last round?
Yes.
So you've got damage resistance this round.
Yes.
Okay, that's gonna come in handy.
Oh shit.
Because you're the only one standing close to this thing, trying to get at it with your sword and your throwing axe. So,
So the pastries I threw had no effect on it?
no, it's had enough of pastries. Okay, that was its undercover food. It's out now.
He never wants to see another pastry ever again after this.
40 damage.
Holy tits. Ah.
Don't forget to subtract your damage.
Yeah, so that's a big -4, so that's 36.
Yeah.
How much HP do you have?
I'm
37.
I'm still doing okay. Well, hold on a sec.
Basically,
Wow.
huge claw just across the torso, and you've got like several deep, like lacerations where each finger would have been.
He just flashes back to before he met these guys, and his life was pretty good. And then he's had 2 really rough days.
Okay, so that brings us to so Normalman. I'll
You rolled a
get to
hit,
you on
or
your
was that
turn.
just automatic hit, basically?
Hmm?
Did you roll to hit?
I crit.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's why. So I crit failed and then I crit. So there was one fumble where it basically just, I'm gonna say, just wiped out like the table, like the tea table was just like turned into splinters.
My biscuits.
Then another one hit you. So
Thank God I only got one.
but it's top
fumble.
of the round. So Scott Cow, what are you gonna do?
I kind of feel like going home. Can I take a chop? I'll roll for my EP again. Did not get it. But I critted to hit. So 6 plus. Fuck, I rolled a 1.
Damn it.
12 damage.
Chipping away.
With my sword.
Normalman, you have reached the tree of wands.
Yeah, so basically as I'm running, like as soon as I hit the courtyard, Cork comes out, run right to it, and then just like catch a bottle, try to shake all the crap out of it.
And as you're doing this, it's like you can see these the lights start to swirl around the tree, and it almost seems like it's growing, like it's like all of the sort of the dark, the stain, the wear and tear that you can see on it, all the sort of ages of dust, whatever sunspots and things you can see on it. Suddenly they're just magically wiped away, and this tree is gleaming, beautiful white branches, and buds start to form, like these soft green buds are starting to form up in the highest branches, and the whole thing almost just seems to like sigh, and the sunlight sort of twinkles right through it, and you can tell that this tree of wand will last an eternity, as long as no one comes along and destroys it. So you feel as if your mission here has been accomplished. You have prevented this final omen in the prophecy of Kava from taking place, but you still have to make sure that nothing destroys the tree. So you can either walk away now, or you can head up and help those people, because this Cacophene has lost less than a fifth of his health.
Jesus tits! Can you
Stop rolling 20s?
Can you save the cap on that and bring it back up so we can all lick it?
Yeah, I'm gonna cap it and then run back upstairs.
Okay. The Fell. Are you just going to keep blasting?
I mean, let's find out if I can do something else. I think it's just way too dangerous for me to not. Yeah, I don't have my EP, so it's going to hopefully take more than what I just gave it. Okay, that's a little better. 11 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7.
27.
Great. Love you all for doing math. So yeah, 27 damage.
Okay, so you're starting to break some of those spikes off, and the thing is like clearly seething. Like it was already a creature born of hatred, but it is seething. Like those missiles are finding their way between the spikes, and like there are like burnt scorch marks on it. But it's not backing down.
Yeah, and the fella is going to continue to verbally encourage Yasmina and Amara and Father Elijah, and is going to recommend that Amara not touch it directly, but attack it from a distance with her flaming fucking sword somehow. I don't know.
Can you use that minor again to give Elijah more spell power? Or?
The minor is using my EP, so without my EP, I can't do that. But I wish I could give it to me.
You're in luck because all three of them rolled their EP. So Amara kind of stumbles forward, and it almost seems as if she's trying to steady herself by catching on to Scott Cow's shoulder, but it's actually a lay on hands. And she's like, "That's right. Let's stand together." And you receive 18 HP back.
Okay, that's good. I like you now, lady. I like you.
Okay. Oh wow. And Yasmina Al-Kindi manages to continue to petrify she's almost trying to petrify the whole Cacophene, and the Cacophene is basically just sort of stiffening, and you can see like almost the same veins as you would see in marble starting to form around it. Like it's just, there's stone that's trying to kind of creep its way, like it's becoming slightly petrified, like petrified wood right before it becomes quite sedimentized, but it's still continuing to move. And Father Elijah, who's actually very high level,
He better be. You don't get to walk around telling people back in my day we got up with 1 hit point instead of 2.
So he actually manages to restore 21 hit points to everybody in the room.
Fuck yeah.
Am I in?
Not yet.
Wow, I am back to full health. Thank God.
What? You too.
Unfortunately, it is now the Cacophines' turn.
Yeah, and it can super definitely kill me in 1 round, so, you know. Win some, you lose some.
So that is that's an 11 to hit on Scott Cow.
Oh yes, sir. That is a red hot one.
Okay. So let's see what happens. $49 damage.
Well,
Ooh, me buttocks. Me buttocks.
what does your rage take off that?
I don't have it this round.
Oh, it's only round per round? It's not sustained?
Yep.
Oh, God. That doesn't sound like a great EP. I gotta tell you.
Have you been
That
dropped?
also adds to damage.
Oh,
okay.
no, guys, I am on 1 hoof, as they say.
Okay.
1 hoof point.
What? I've got a few hoof points left, but I'm down on 1 knee. That's for sure. Minotaurs have knees.
Which way did they
and-
face?
And also 42 damage to Amara. So Amara was like, "That's right, stand together." And it was just
It was like one
sliced.
shot that went through both of us.
When I say that I brought her back just so she could tank and die again every round that she's conscious, I wasn't fucking with you. That is what I want for her.
Okay, well, she's been a good paladin. She's come back. She laid on hands and she has been dropped. And that brings us to the top of the round. Normalman has shown up. Like, so what? You guys are still fighting this thing?
It's about time.
Okay, Scott Cow, and don't forget, if you try to attack this thing with melee, then you're going to take some of that spike damage.
I might just throw myself at it in a fit of...
The fit of getting killed.
I didn't
No,
get my-
you have to be there to tank damage for me, Scott. A single meat shield is insufficient. It'll start taking out our only healers. If we're not careful.
I'm gonna lock it in a death grapple with my horns, and it'll take damage, and I'll take damage, and it'll be pretty cool. What do you say?
I will allow it. You'll take 1d8 damage, and it will take however much damage you do with your horns. That's not a lot.
I believe
26.
it is going to be 10 after I do a roll. It's 5 plus my strength roll, so...
Okay. And you know what? If you beat it with a strength roll, and it's got strength base 8, so I don't know if you're going to be able to do this, but you could, in theory, grapple it.
Well, this is kind of like the idea. You can make me roll. I'll do that. I'll do some drama, but the idea is he's just kind of like... He's been like hurt really bad over the past couple days. He's pretty bummed out about it. And he's pretty delirious right now as well. It's like, so he's just like, because there's like blood like pouring out of his mouth and all this. He's been like really, really hurt like a couple times here with big slashes.
Yep.
He figures he's about to die anyway, and he's gonna go dune fighting.
Okay.
So anyway,
Right.
I'll run in and grapple it, and we'll have a deathlock of damage versus damage, and I'll just keep it going.
Well, it did surprisingly little damage to you. That's 3 damage. You know, so
Okay.
you must have jumped on the shorter spikes, like the...
I'm still standing, believe it or not. I am still standing, and you will take 10 damage.
It's not bad.
So I'm just kind of like, I go in like horns first, you know what I mean? Because it's also very hard on the top of my head, so he starts throwing punches. Like I'm kind of trying to resist it on my like super thick cranium, and he's just like, he lets out like a bloody, horrid moo, I guess, kind of maybe.
That is horrible. I feel bad. Okay, Normalman, what do you like, full?
No, I was killed by the scream and then by the
delicious potion.
But I do have my EP, so I'm gonna do some metal. Basically, as I'm running, I stow the shield, put the nux on, and then like grab the elixir bottle, and I run up Scott Cow's back to get on face level with the thing, and I stick the elixir bottle in its mouth, and then just fucking uppercut it so that it smashes into the bottle and has its mouth full of the holy elixir plus broken glass plus my fist.
Hopefully it does not enjoy, you know.
Yeah, if he gets healed by this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I think this was a reasonable supposition to make within the game world, that something that would break a curse and heal the Tree of Wands as a fundamentally good thing would probably be like toxic to like a hellspawn caco fiend.
Well, good thinking, because Scott Cow is unable to think right now.
So that's a crit for placing the bottle, and a 5, 10, 13 to hit.
That's a hit.
With my fist.
That's a hit.
So the fist does... the fist does max damage, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. And then whatever the bottle eating does.
I will give you 4d10.
Woo! Delicious. Delicious bottle.
You had to use most of the contents to actually restore the Tree of Wands, but there's a little bit left.
Residue.
That is some good damage. 34. Nice. 7, 8, 9, 10 was what I rolled.
Jeez.
Also, a straight.
Yes. Indeed.
And then I don't get any damage because I'm using Scott Cow as a shield.
Okay. The Fel.
That's basically, I'm like hanging off.
The Fel didn't get their EP. Apparently, they're not particularly divinely inspired to heal anybody right now.
It's fair. It's fair.
The universe is telling you.
They do continue to encourage the PCs. They tell Elijah to try and like slap some sense into that stupid woman and get her back on her feet. It can't be that bad. She can walk it off. Whatever he needs to say. And then the fellow's going to continue to cast Force Missile at it. Oh, 18 plus 5 plus 5 plus 7.
Hang on.
35?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, 35.
Okay. You'll be pleased to know that the Caco Fiend is now bloodied.
Yay.
We're gonna die.
What color?
Come on, kids, we got 45 minutes to work our way through the other half.
Elijah rushes over to Amara, gives her the old slap, like, come on, get up. She's like, I was in a place. It was so beautiful.
I doubt that.
Not yet, you're not.
Yeah. And Yasmina, who's really been paying off as an NPC, continues the Gorgon stare and manages to continue the sort of semi-petrification of the Caco Fiend, removing one of its action points for the round. which is great. Now I'm going to do random targeting because everybody has kind of like been around the room a bit. You know, you're fighting, you're throwing axes, you're uppercutting, you're launching missiles at this thing. So
I'm basically stuck to it.
Oh yeah, that's true. But as between you and Amara, it is targeting Normalman. So that is a 10 to hit.
That's a miss.
And a crit fail.
Oh, delicious.
How do you describe this massive claw coming at you and you being able to deflect it?
I'm gonna say, like, as it's coming in, Normalman kind of just spots it and like leans back just enough and grabs him by the elbow and like makes him smack his own face with his hand.
That thing is like the size of like.
Okay, it's like it's getting close. I back away just a little bit and it swifts by and like smashes into like a pillar or something.
Okay. Agreed. Okay, Scott Cow, what are you gonna do? You're stuck to it already.
Can I just keep struggling and like punching and clawing and like biting and giving it the old Glasgow kiss?
You can, but you're doing like max damage of 10. Don't you want to roll your EP and try something else?
I'll try to roll my EP, but I just like the visual.
Okay.
And I'm also I'm going with, you know, what I think he would do.
Yeah.
And I did roll my EP, so I'll soak up a bit of damage. But I'm really doing that. I'm just like in its face and all that, like all bloody and all that, like, ah, yes, son of a, like headbutting it and like clawing at its eyes.
I mean, you're doing your strength roll damage. So you're doing 5 plus strength plus you're getting your rage bonus.
That is correct, Amundo. Let me just.
Are you doing like a grapple to reduce actions as well, or are you just?
Yeah, he's gonna try it as well.
Times 2. So this will take another 8 damage, along with 5. So far that's 13 plus only a 2, so 15 damage.
It's not bad.
In my raging, grinding, grabbing, bloody, doesn't know what's going on, delirious, can't even make a decision right now, really.
But can you grapple? You gotta roll your strength.
I will roll my strength. I rolled a crit on that anyway, so that would be 11.
I rolled only a 10. So you somehow managed to like submission this thing, so it's actually you're bending its bony, just all spikes and teeth head down towards the ground.
What are spikes made of? Can I try to break one?
Huh?
Well, can I try to break one of these spikes? Like,
for sure. Oh, I assume you're holding on to them like handles.
Yeah,
like,
I imagine so.
To...
So, like in this round, while I'm doing it, I'm trying to see if I can break one off in preparation for next round and jam it whichever orifice shows up first.
Great.
Well, hey, so you've got so that's one less action point this round, and that brings us to Normalman.
All right. So while its face is closer to the ground, Normalman is just hoofing it.
Hey, I don't like those words.
Yeah.
Sorry, booting it with like this steel-plated foot with a crit to hit and a 10 to hit.
Both
I'm like
are
hanging off the body. I don't like those words, but you wouldn't say hoofing it out loud.
So 14, 18, 21 damage total. How much damage do I take?
You take 1d8 damage. 6. You kind of get like a spike right up into the calf as you like stomp them. Yeah.
Behind the Achilles heel.
Hmm.
Behind the Achilles tendon.
The fell.
I continue to fail to roll my EP. Driven by a divine fury and looking very much unlike my normal self. I'm going to continue to fire my overpowered force missile at this thing. So that's 11 plus 6 plus 5 plus 7.
You don't have to do
29.
You don't have to do the math. I just keep plugging them all in.
Okay.
Awesome. And I assume you're continuing to encourage everybody.
Yes.
Notwithstanding your encouragement, Amara and Elijah do not have any EP, but Yasmina does.
Yeah, I
but
like that.
on this occasion, it is able to continue the petrification, and so you've got this basically this gorgon with writhing snakes for hair, continuing to gaze at the Cacofiend, and the Cacofiend continues to suffer the ill effects of partial petrification. And so in this particular round, the Cacofiend can barely move. But it moves enough to target the Fell
Oh.
with a crit fail.
I'm just so beautiful in this moment. You cannot touch me.
The red eyes are just blazing. And that takes us to the top of the round with Scott Cow.
I'm going to. Did I manage to break off a spike there?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so I'm going. Is there something that resembles an eyeball on there?
Mm-hmm. Big
Okay.
blazing red ones.
Why is it always the eyeballs? Y'all.
I
Squishy.
didn't get my EP this time, but I will try to bring Spike down in a stabbing motion in its red eye. On its head. The red eye on its head.
Yeah.
I rolled a 5 plus 5, 10.
That's a hit.
Yay! And I'm gonna stir it around like it's like a coffee.
Always with the eyes.
How do I figure this?
If it suffers something from that, you know me, I'm all about the sizzle again.
Yeah, no, D8 plus strength, but
That's
Yeah.
gonna be Alvine damage, 11 damage.
okay.
And I'm just like, "Ugh," and the skull acts as like a circular guide for me to just like the eye socket.
Okay, Normalman, you're seeing this. Roll con to avoid being grossed out.
No, I'm into it.
Okay, don't roll
Ugh.
con then. Just
How do
tell
you
us what
call
you're doing.
yourself normal, man?
Yeah.
So,
What normal are we basing ourselves
the-
on?
I'm now
the
rolling
shield
con
comes
to avoid
around.
being grossed out.
the shield comes around, I grab my mace, and at one point Scott stops stirring, and I hammer onto the end of the spike to try to just...
Rail spike it in.
Yeah.
Right, the brain, does it have one?
And that is a 12 to hit.
That's a hit.
So 10, 11 damage, plus whatever for the flare of hammering a spike into its own face.
I like it as a finishing move, but demons don't have brains in the
Oh.
traditional sense, and so you will take 2 damage just for doing a melee attack on it and being so close to it in terms of the
That's
spikes. But it has taken 11 damage, and that one eye is no longer usable. So, and I'm gonna say it probably rears back on its hind legs, and it's like, it takes the spike and actually just pulls it straight out of its skull, and you see this like black stuff just splatter on the ground. and start to burn. And as it burns, what is released in the form of smoke isn't actually smoke. It's actually just like evil souls that are kind of escaping as the demon starts to deatomize. Okay, so the Fel.
I'm gonna stay in its blind spot.
I still don't have my EP, so it doesn't matter. Even if I felt charitable, I couldn't be. So I'm going to continue to attack this thing. Ugh. That wasn't as great. 4 plus 6 plus 5 plus 7.
It's 23.
22.
Devin.
Yeah, Devin. Try to cheat. Wow, okay. That is a lot of damage that it has taken. Okay. That brings us to our hapless NPCs, a little bit half NPCs. Elijah actually manages to roll his EP this time. So everybody in the room is going to get 15 HP back.
Almost doubled it from
single digits.
Can I give my HP to the cow? Because I'm full.
No, sorry. So Amara is back in the game, so to speak. So she gets back up again, and she has her sword, but she hasn't had a chance to sort of ignite it yet using her enchantress power. So that brings us down to the Caco Fiend, who this round has not lost any of its action points. So it's going to do something that it hasn't done yet, which is to cast a terror effect on everything. It basically is just like it almost sort of fills the room, and shadows just emerge from its back and swirl up around you, almost as if you're just being enclosed in this orb of darkness with only the Caco Fiend. There's nothing else in the universe but you and the Caco Fiend. And it shrieks again, and the whole shriek is just contained within this orb, and you can just feel yourself starting to shake, almost like your soul's gonna shake out of your body. And it is terrifying. So roll Will 9, or you will be vexed.
I am vexed. I have a will of 1.
Oh shit! That's a 9.
Wow.
Man, that
wait.
doesn't feel fair.
Sorry, my will is only 2. I thought it was int. There, I can't hit that. It's only an 8.
I am also next.
Okay, so that's a full. That's everyone is vexed. Okay, so.
Oh, come on! You're telling me Elijah and Yasmin and
they
Murder Lady are
terrible stats.
Come on!
So it goes twice.
So that is a 13 to hit on Normalman, and a 10 to hit on Scott Cow.
Yep.
A fumble on the Fel.
I am divine!
The universe is coming in here. A fumble on Yasmina. A fumble on Elijah. I can't believe this. This Caco Fiend is okay. And a 11 to hit on Amara. So everybody
My plan continues.
So everybody who was hit is going to suffer the same amount of damage, so that we don't have to listen to the rolls happen again.
You're too quiet over there.
48 damage.
Holy
to
tits!
everyone who was hit.
Yeah,
And
I'm down.
As
Yeah.
you're in this dome of blackness, basically it picks up Amara, and Amara, basically its claw goes straight down into her chest to pick her up. So these claws are going between the bones of the rib cage and lifting her up, and she's like, "Do your worst," and it just pulls the rib cage to bits, like just pulls it straight out, and there's blood everywhere, and she's perma-dead. Like, she's not coming back. Not even Friar Elijah is going to be able to bring her back from that. And her peregrine sword falls to the floor, and I don't think any of you can use the peregrine sword, but anyway, there it is. And so she is wiped out. And everybody
the sword
else,
is a much better memento than the heart that I was going to go for. So.
Is anybody still standing?
I am.
The fell.
Yeah. What about Scott Cow and Normalman? Are you guys both dropped?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay. Well, you're close. So it's going to be a close one. So top of the round. The vexation is over.
Exciting conclusion here.
Okay. But you guys are both dropped. The fell. What are you going to do?
I don't have my EP. So I'm going to attack it. And since Friar Elijah and Yasmin are still alive, I am going to encourage Yasmin to petrify it if she can. If not, wake one of those guys up, and the same Friar Elijah heal or get them up, please.
Okay.
And thank you. And then I'm going to attack it. Oh, dang it. 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 7. So 21.
Okay.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
This D20 is like not actually clearing 10 very much.
Okay. So, Yasmina and Elijah are going to try to resuscitate the poor Minotaur and completely normal human. So, Scott Cow, you receive your will plus 3 HP back, and you are back up. And
You want to be then.
Normalman, you get your will plus 1 HP, and you're back up. And I'm going to call another bathroom break. So you guys can figure out what you're going to do, because it's getting pretty close. Okay, we're back. We were just saying that this would be a lot easier with Beau's character La Habrea around. So Beau, if you listen to this later, whatever happens from here on in is on you.
Whatever bad happens from here on in is on you. All of our success is purely our own and has nothing whatsoever.
Clearly, that's clear.
Okay, so Scott, Cow, and Normalman are no longer dropped, but you're dropped adjacent. you're not.
We're
too
only
healthy
mostly dropped.
at present. And it is now the turn of the Caco Fiend. And I'm going
I
to
forgot.
some random targeting. The Fell has been targeted. Yasmina has been targeted.
Oh no.
Ooh.
And the Fell has been targeted again.
Oh shit. Alright, whatever divine providence has been causing fumbles, please hold out now. I don't have the hit points.
Yasmina is dropped.
Fuck.
Fumble on the Fell. And crit on the Fell.
God damn it. Divine
So
favor ran
let's
out.
see, eventually luck. You keep pressing it.
There's too many dice involved in this. I don't feel good.
And the look on the face is too like mathematical calculating.
36 damage.
That's
I
the
am
lowest.
still alive.
Yes, I rolled a 1 and a 2 on some of those D10s, so something is happening to keep you alive. But Yasmina has been dropped. So basically the Cacophene is pushing past some of the more wounded ones because it must recognize you, and as it does, it goes, Seraph! and it's trying to claw at you. And it goes, "The prophecy of Kava will be fulfilled. So many souls to reap once Kava lays waste to your world." Anyway, demon type stuff. So that brings us to the top of the round. Scott Cow.
I live. I think I'm still pretty close to this thing. I'm almost pretty dead. So I'm gonna try to just pull off one of my hand axes there and just take a whack at the other eye. I'm gonna try to sever the other eye and basically split it in two.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do it too, damn it.
If you crit or roll very high, I will permit it.
Well, I didn't get the EP, but here we go. I got a 5, so 10.
That is a hit. What is your damage? And I'll give you an extra effect here.
What's that?
What's your damage?
Oh, sorry. What does anybody know what the hand axe damage is off?
I think it's a
D6 plus
D6. Yeah, D6 plus strength.
Okay.
The
10.
sound of math, folks. The
10
sound
damage,
of
10
math.
damage. That's
much?
easy. That's easy math. 10.
Okay.
10 eyeball damage again. I have an eyeball thing.
And I'm going to say it's blinded. So it's very large, but its to hit is going to be dropped by half. So for it to continue hitting you is going to be a lot harder. And that is your effect. Normalman.
Raj.
I'm gonna grab Yasmina, drag her out of the way, and slap some life into her.
Yeah? Okay. So she'll get 3 HP back.
The fight's not done yet.
Okay. One of the snakes bites you when you slap. You're like, ow! You take 1 damage.
And then I die.
Yeah, roll con to resist the poison. No. Okay, the fell. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna roll EP for a change?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
This dice has rolled nothing but 2s for the last 20 minutes.
Hopefully your D20 rolls like an 18.
Here we go. I've switched D20, so we'll see if this one's better or worse. Yeah, it's okay. 7 plus 2 plus 5 plus 7.
So still less than 10.
Yeah, that's not okay. Rolling a 7
It's
on a
better
D20.
than 2, okay? It's been doing a lot of 2s. I really... Listen, if you wanted this to be more badass, Brendan, you could have given me 2 D20 or another bonus. But it's swingy because it's a D20. That's how probability works.
And also, the cosmos can be kind of swingy. So, all right. Yasmina is still waking up, obviously, but Elijah, who is getting really the second wind of his life, right? He didn't think he was going to do any more adventuring. And he's got 1 HP, and yet somehow, and no defense, no ability to fend off an attack from a Cacophene. But he has managed to get his EP again. And because he's level 12, you guys are all going to get 16 HP back, including Yasmina. So, and he's probably getting a little feisty too. He's like, yeah, you want some more of this?
Yeah.
Come on.
He's gonna sleep good this afternoon.
Yeah. But will that be enough to save you? Because it's now time for the Cacophene that is again random targeting. Okay, so versus Scott Cow, a 8 to hit.
Yeah, it hit me.
That is a critical fumble on Elijah. And
The
a
divine. The divine.
6 to hit on the fell.
No.
So
I have that
it's-
sweet mage armor.
Basically, this thing is just with both claws slashing back and forth, just drawing sparks up off the floor when it's scratching against the stone tiles and heaving itself spikes first into walls, basically blind and fighting blind, enraged, and manages to get a claw into Scott Cow. So let's see what the damage is.
You can hear me like sort of chuckling in his ear like that.
Do you have less than 20 HP?
Yes.
Okay, you were dropped then. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that it body checks you into the wall, and the spikes just pierce right into you, and then you drop straight to the side of the wall. But that brings us to the top of the round. Normalman.
Normalman.
No EP. This guy's looking like super fucked up, right?
Who? The Caco Fiend?
Yeah.
Oh, the Caco Fiend has taken a lot of damage. Like spikes broken. Like it has burning spots on it where it's been hit by all of these magic missiles that are fueled by the Seraph's natural power. It's like the divine power is causing it to basically smoke, but all the smoke that's rising up out of it are actually evil souls, and they're kind of they're sort of haunting away from it. And so it's looking pretty worse for wear. Oh, and both of its glowing red eyes have been gouged out.
Okay.
And so it's bleeding black over the floor. So it's looking pretty bad. Still very lethal, but pretty bad.
I'm gonna grab the Peregrine sword and give it like a quick whip around to make sure it's not gonna chop my arm off, and then I'm gonna go after it.
Now, you don't have dual wield.
Oh, I don't.
So you're only going to be able to use one side.
That's fair.
Per round, but one side is the same as a short sword.
Well, that's a crit to hit, too.
It's 1d8 plus 9 damage.
So...
Oh, sorry, that's with her strength. What's your strength?
5.
Yeah, so it's 1d8 plus 8 damage.
Okay. So 16 damage.
Ooh, yikes.
And the remaining sunlight still in it causes a burning as you swipe through it. Like not only does it cut off a bunch of spikes, but when the spikes hit the ground, they just continue to sizzle and burn until all the way down to the tips, they turn to ash. That brings us to the fell.
Cool. I didn't roll my EP. Didn't roll my EP. 3 this time, not 2. So we're getting some variety, but still insufficient to do anything other than murder this thing. So I'm gonna continue to do that, and hope this D20 does better than a D6. It did great. So that's 6 plus 18.
Whoa.
Plus 5 plus 7.
Describe it.
Yeah. So the Fel has been waiting their literal whole existence for this. We have no idea how long they've been alive. No one ever asked, and they haven't brought it up. And so after watching their cow friend drop, finally the emotional toll is getting to them, and they just pour every last bit of divine fury into, and what I should state for copyright reasons, are force missiles. Definitely 100% force missiles and not any other thing.
I was talking about Metroids earlier. I'm pretty sure there's some significant copyright violations.
Oh, no. Just in case people are wondering, the custom rules we are using
Right.
definitely says force missiles.
Yeah, these is not D&D. Okay.
Anyways, and just this like sort of conjuration of force that just looks like this incredible like spear, like just lances down and like nails it right into the wall in like a sizzling burst of light.
And from that point where it's been impaled into the wall, these cracks of glowing blue radiance just expand around from that one point of impact, and the whole thing starts to just crumble, just turn to ash and crumble, and smoke is just billowing out of it at this point, and all the smoke is actually like screaming, wailing evil spirits trying as best they can to escape from this thing that's being deatomized before these souls are going to get pulled back down to hell. And as it's being destroyed, it goes, "The Kava will still come one day," and it pulls itself apart. And once the demon has completely disintegrated, you look around the room and you see Commander Amara's remains, never to be resurrected. Elijah is still kicking. Yasmina rushes over to Contessa Vincenza, who is just regaining consciousness, right? Like smelling salts, like, oh, whatever happened? And you are doing okay, although Scott Cow needs some medical attention.
Well, now that I am no longer singularly occupied with the destruction of this particular demon, I'm happy to provide medical assistance.
Or we can have Scott Cow die for drama.
No, because I don't think you want to, because it's not the end.
Okay.
Because as you are going over to Scott Cow to try to help him to get back up onto his feet and, staunch the blood, you suddenly hear this boom and this crackle from outside, and people start screaming. Like, you can hear screams coming from outside, and you hear somebody shouting, "The walls! The walls have been breached! Run for your lives!" And
Good thing we have an airship.
you look up, and you see
Fly for our lives, suckers!
goblins are just streaming in through the walls, like just a sea of green and gray and glinting metal have started to come through the walls into Avondale.
Oh, I guess they want to destroy the tree.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that takes us to the end of tonight's session. You guys definitely deserve a level up. That was a really, really tough Kako Fiend. As I was rolling the damage, which by the way is 4d10 plus 20, that's why I was like 48 damage. And it gets 3 attacks per round unless you manage to vex it. It was doing a ton of damage.
Yeah.
So
like every one of those hits would have killed us.
Me. For sure.
Yep. Well, congratulations.
Bless Yasmin and her incredible. Yasmin and Elijah really came through there on the NCC front. Bless them both.
The Kako Fiend is actually classified as a challenge rating 5. So you could have been fighting that at like level 10, but you guys are only level 7. And I thought, you know what, I think they can handle it, and you did. I'm very proud of you. But you should level up though. You should level up to level 8.
Yes.
I will have some other goodies for you that I will post in the chat. I suspect that Yasmina might have some special rings and other things that might help you, because you are now going to have to protect the tree from a lot of goblins, and maybe some other things too. But anyway, that'll wait for the next session. So thanks everybody.
Get a long rest.
maybe get some potions or something. All right,
Hold on
Okay,
a
guys.
minute, goblins. Hold on a minute.
And if you liked tonight's episode, please hit the like, the subscribe, the follow, all of that stuff. Spread the word. Join us again for episode 9, 10, and so on as we play custom RPG SideQuest Live. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
Don't get cocky!